In this video, I will discuss assessment, measurement, and evaluation. The terms assessment, measurement, and evaluation are oftentimes misconstrued to mean the same, when in fact, they are not but rather complements each other in determining the state of educational programs. First, we have assessment. Assessment is not evaluation, but evaluation involves the process of assessment. Assessment is a means of knowing the state of student learning in terms of what he knows and can do with reference to the purpose of the learning tasks and objectives. It secures data or measures that reflect student progress and success or failures in instruction. According to Deitel, Herman, and Nutt on the year 1991, assessment is any method used to better understand the current knowledge of the student. Such method implies an educational concept that knowledge of students changes in any manner from a situation to another depending on how favorable it is to them. As a process, assessment uses a variety of tools and methods of obtaining scientific and verifiable data that serve the basis of interpreting results. The data that may be obtained are either quantitative or qualitative, depending on the purpose and tools used in assessment. Hence, it also includes the process of measurement, although measurement is not always a must in assessment. Next, let us have measurement. Measurement constitutes a larger chunk of the entire process of assessment when the purpose requires quantitative data. This process involves leveling off and quantifying the degree of the correctness or appropriateness of the answers or responses of the subjects. This process does not apply to an assessment that requires qualitative data, unless a conversion process from qualitative to quantitative data is to be adopted. Next will be evaluation. Evaluation is a process that uses the results of assessment for decision-making on reviewing, revising, and redesigning or replacing courses of actions and programs. It is the giving of value and judgment on the obtained data in assessment for decision-making. Assessment, therefore, is a prerequisite of evaluation. However, assessment can stand by itself without evaluation. Taking assessment as always an integral part of teaching learning process that makes teaching worth teaching. A teacher keeps the following questions in mind before starting a step in assessment. These questions may help the teacher or assessor makes the processes responsive and yields a more objective and informative educational result. The first question is, what is the purpose of assessment? Basic in the assessment process is the purpose of conducting it. The teacher must be clear with the direction and activities in line with the purpose of determining how far or how less the students have progressed and what can they may be in the next level of learning. It may include the purpose of determining how far the instruction has improved, either in the context of certain discipline with the learners or the whole educational institution, and what steps shall be adopted to improve the quality of instruction. This includes identification of purpose, either for comparison of a single or group performance among others, which is norm-based, or against a set of criteria, which is criterion-based, or against self, which is ipsative. Next question will be, what educational objectives shall be the focus of assessment? In ensuring of meeting the purpose, the teacher shall identify and prioritize the instructional objectives that were covered in the entire period. This attempt limits the scope of assessment, and the objectivity and validity of assessment is likely observed. Next, what subject areas or topics are covered by the learning objectives? The teaching learning process covers a variety of topics or areas of instruction to carry out the course objectives. With this in mind, the assessor must concentrate on the specific areas that were finished, not just covered in the entire period of assessment. This makes the assessment instrument valid in context. Next, what part of the entire assessment does each area cover? There are many tasks and activities the teacher undertakes, as there are many situations that are necessary for instruction to allow the students learn in many different and unique ways about every specific instructional area. It is important that a proportionate representation of the content of each task or topic is properly distributed in the assessment instrument with respect to time and educational domains of learning. Next, what kind of data is needed? In attaining the objectives of assessment, the assessor must be definite of the needed data. It is the determination of whether or not the assessor needs the quantitative data, qualitative data, or a combination of both to address the purpose of assessment. Next, how much time or how long will the assessment be? Time is an important element in the conduct of assessment, not only in its administration, but also in scoring, recording, interpreting, and communicating. This requires the assessor to zero in on the mean length of time the learners may be able to finish each item, task, or problem given. The assessment period must not be too long that may permit physical and mental fatigue to the assessed, nor too short that it does not cover the entire content of the assessment objectives. Next, when and where will the assessment be? The conduct of assessment must be considered not only on the time but also the day and place in relation to test readiness of those to be assessed. Considering that taking assessment requires both the physiological, psychological, and mental preparations, the assessment must be done in such time and day where the learners feel the comfort or free from classroom and other environmental disturbances or pollutants. Next, what assessment tools shall be used? Each of the assessment tools has its specific use and purpose. Important in designing an assessment program is the determination of the kind of tool that elicits the required data that truly address the purpose and surely represent the assessed individuals or groups. This requires value judgment on the importance of each kind of assessment tool from among the array of traditional and authentic ones. Next, what type of problems or questions or tasks shall be included? At this point, the assessor must identify the kind of problems and items to be included in assessment. The type and category of assessment and the placement of each item or task shall be an utmost consideration to achieve the purpose. This includes the process of choosing either paper pen, oral, performance, portfolio, or other tools that may be appropriate as desired. Next, what material and manpower resources are necessary and available for assessment? Knowledge of the available material and manpower resources is an important factor to consider for a smooth and effectively assessment program. A carefully designed assessment tool only becomes responsive to the purpose with the sufficiency and availability of the needed manpower and material resources on time. This includes the ready for use of equipment and other facilities during the entire assessment operation. Next, how will the items, problems, or task performance be measured or scored, analyzed, interpreted, and communicated? Setting the criteria and measuring system is necessary in this stage. This requires the assessor to settle how much or what weight shall be given for complete or partly complete answer or task performance of the learner. It also asks of the system to be used in categorizing each kind of data and the manner of interpreting results according to the purpose and objective of the assessment. The method of communicating the findings to the learners and other stakeholders shall likewise be given importance with much regard to the rights of the concerned individuals. And lastly, who shall be benefited of the assessment results? The results of the assessment only serve the purpose if they provide significant contributions or benefits to the teaching profession, to the institution, to the external community, and to those who may be benefited for the purpose of revision or improvement of instruction and any organizational goals and objectives. Hence, results of assessment serve the purpose of evaluating programs and through which the plans for improvement are based. So those are assessment, measurement, and evaluation. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have learned something.